to the NBA, where we produce some people, where the Celtics and Jason Tatum have reportedly agreed on the largest contract in NBA history, $314 million over 5 years. This follows yesterday's 4-year, $126 million deal with Tony's fave, Derek White. Tony, when you look at these contracts, the signings by league rivals, and the announcement that the Celtics majority ownership group intends to sell, are you confident these Celtics, will be the team to beat for the coming 2 to 3 seasons?
In the East, sure. I'm totally confident. Totally. Mike, they just won the NBA championship. They had more regular season victories than every other team in the league. The next team that was under them was 7 wins under, and that was both Denver and Oklahoma City. In the East, it was the Knicks, 14 wins under, right? I mean, the Celtics went out in the playoffs. They were 16-3, Mike, 16-3. They never lost more than 1 game in any particular round, and they've got all their players back. All of their starters are signed for at least 2 more seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you think's going to beat them? Do you think the Knicks are going to beat them because they got Mikal Bridges?
Maybe.
Yeah, but they just lost their big center. Didn't their big center sign in Oklahoma City? Do you think Philadelphia is going to beat them because Paul George has never won anything? Is going to make Philadelphia great? I don't think that that's the case. You know what, Mike? We have to wait and see Paul George's impact. We don't have to wait and see the Celtics' impact. We saw they won.
Yeah, Tony, they won, and they are worthy, and they're going to be the team to beat. But I think teams will beat them. I do.
Okay.
I think if the Knicks were healthy this past season, the Celtics won 64 games. I'm going to give you my over-under for the Celtics for this coming season. 56? Because they're going to be better teams playing them every night. All right? Not just in the West, but in the East. Indiana's going to get a little better. There's some dogs in the East. I know that. But, Tony, no. I just think there are too many teams that I'm going to run out and say, look, nobody's repeated in a while in the NBA. Nobody.
That's right.
I mean, so the Warriors, when they were stacked, they were able to repeat. Bird, Parrish, McHale, and DJ couldn't repeat. Why do I think these guys are going to repeat? I don't. So I think they are the team to beat in terms of betting, BET.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, ESPN bet. But man, and the Knicks.
They have all their players,
You were just hating on the Knicks. I don't understand
I'm
this.
not hating. Mike, that's just not true. Boston's better. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
And if Porzingis gets out of this surgery healthy, Boston is a lot better.
We're still waiting on that.
That's what I'm saying. It's been a busy start to NBA free agency. Here to help us sort through it is our great friend, ESPN senior NBA writer Brian Windhorst. Brian, let's start with this. The Warriors lost Klay Thompson, who is a stalwart of all those championship teams. They lost Chris Paul, who was there briefly. Me personally, I think it's over for them. I think that it's time to go to history on the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors, at least as we knew them. In your opinion, do they have any moves left?
You may be right about them being out of contention for championship status. They do have some moves left. They did sign DeAnthony Melton yesterday. Now, I know that DeAnthony Melton, signing him the day that Klay Thompson leaves, feels a little limp. But that actually is a pretty shrewd signing. If he's healthy, he can really help them defensively. Plus, they're betting on Brandon Pajemski getting better. But really what you're asking me, is there a big trade? That's what you're really asking me. And the answer is yes, I believe they are in position to make a big trade. They own 4 first-round picks they can trade. They have a bunch of expiring salary. And they have some interesting young players. Now, they don't want to part with them. I don't know if that big trade is going to happen this summer. But that big trade could happen during the season or next year. They are armed with the ammo to get into the market for a big trade. They're dipping their toes in the water for Lauri Markkanen, which would be an interesting acquisition. That would be kind of a Porzingis-type acquisition, but they may not get that done. But just, they do make big deals. Let's see what happens over the next few months.
Brian, let's zero in specifically on Klay Thompson for a second. He said to LeBron, thanks, but no thanks. Said to his dad, Michael, who I've known forever, Pops, I love you, but. Brian, don't tell me this is about state taxes. Why is Klay Thompson winding up with the Mavericks and not the Lakers?
Because the Mavericks are a great fit. They are a championship contender today, not theoretically, not we'll see how it goes with the new coach, not if we make 3 other moves, not if they stay healthy. They're a championship contender today. Not to mention that, they have a spot where he can walk right into. You saw in the finals, they got plenty of three-pointers, but they just couldn't hit them. Those are now going to be Klay Thompson shots. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 400 to 500 spot-up three-pointers in this upcoming season.
Wow.
And you know that he is going to make a lot of them. Whether he shoots 37% or 41%, you know he's going to make a lot of them, and you know that he's going to thrive. And that was very clear. And Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison were sitting here in L.A. when free agency opened, and they said, here's our 5-point plan. Here's what you're going to do. Not only that, he knew for months he was not going to play for the Warriors. He knew it was over. So he spent the spring recruiting, scouting, watching where he was going to go. He watched the Mavericks play. So this just checked a lot of boxes. I do think the Lakers were in there. It wasn't like he didn't consider him. He did consider him, but the Mavericks made a ton of sense.
Nico Harrison getting it done again. Let's go to Philly. Daryl Morey, of course, has landed Paul George to go with Misters Embiid and Maxey. Brian, I don't consider this a big three necessarily, but maybe Daryl Morey does. He still seems to love his stars. Can this model work? So I guess I'm asking you if with this roster, Philly can be at least top 3 in the East. At minimum, they got to be that, right?
They can be. Look, I'm a little bit fatigued of the big Paul George acquisition in the summer. This is the 4th time in like the last 8 years he's been a big summer acquisition. Oklahoma City traded for him. Then they re-signed him. Big deal, big deal. Then the Clippers got him. Big deal. Now he's going to the 76ers. All of those places, he's had beautiful moments, and it hasn't worked out for various reasons. So I'm just going to step back and wait and watch. The reason I think that this is a special moment is that Philly only had one choice. It wasn't like there were 4 max free agents they could choose from. There was one guy available that they could offer, that they could truly try to get. It wasn't like Paul George had 10 choices. There was one team that really made sense for him that had the money to straight pay him. These sign and trades or whatever, they rarely work. And that match between those two parties was perfect. It is exactly the type of player they need. He won't get in Maxey's way. He won't get in Embiid's way. You need a player like that to go up against the Celtics. And so if you're looking for a reason to talk yourself into why this match is going to work, it's because this pairing is really well set up. But I have been here before in July thinking that a Paul George arrival is going to change the face of the league. And we've seen moments we haven't seen that actually happen yet.
Thank you for saying that, because that's what I would have said. It doesn't actually work. We'll get you out of here on this. A lot of contending teams have improved, some just by signing their own players and staying with them. Are there any teams out there that, in your opinion, have not done enough?
Denver, tough spot. Look, when they lost Bruce Brown last summer, it was because they were constrained. There were rules against them. They just couldn't even match the offer when they lost Bruce Brown. This summer, there was nothing holding them back from paying Kentavious Caldwell-Pope other than the willingness of the owners to spend, the Kroenke family, and they just didn't. And look, like if you don't believe in investing in a 32-year-old, I guess you could try to sell that, but this is your window right now. The only team that solved the Celtics all year was the Nuggets. They were 2-0 against them. Had that been the finals, I'm not sure how it would have gone. And they have now let 2 key players in back-to-back years go out the door. Now, they have a bunch of young guys, and they believe they're going to step up, but you've got Nikola Jokic in his prime right now. Denver, looking at the competitiveness of the West, looking at what Oklahoma City did, looking how Dallas has improved, looking at Minnesota, looking at all that, they're taking steps backwards. And they are in a glorious championship window. And they're taking steps backwards because the ownership doesn't appear like they want to spend. And so, to me, now let's see. We're not at opening night yet. They have other moves they could make. We'll see. But I don't think signing Russell Westbrook is going to be a difference-making move. So Denver, in my view, is getting passed up in a spot where they really messed up. They should have obviously won that series with Minnesota. They let it go, and now they've had a bad summer. They're not on a winning streak right now.
Thank you, Brian, as always.
Thank you, Brian.
So
Appreciate
much.
it.
Enjoy the holiday, guys.
Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs agreed on a 3-year, $150 million max extension. Your thoughts?
How can you ever be critical of a guy signing for $50 million a year? A little surprised. I thought he might go elsewhere, but $50 million a year, that seals it, doesn't it? The Stros, the aforementioned Astros, have won 9 of 10. How significant?
Didn't I talk about this about 5 minutes ago that I said they were the hottest team in baseball? That's what I think I said. The Miami Marlins are moving on from former American League batting champ Tim Anderson, who you know well. Does that make sense?
What happened to Anderson? He's just fallen off the table from a guy who was supposed to lead a team and be maybe a really good hitter on a World Series caliber team to just out. Nationals top prospect James Wood singled in his major league debut. We break that down, Mr. Nats.
Yeah, I think it was a 1-2 count. He worked it to 3-2 when he got Wood on the ball and he got a single. He got a standing ovation before he even batted, which was nice, but the Nats lose. Last one, WNBA tonight, Lynx and Liberty. Who you got?
Numbers 1 and 3 teams in terms of winning percentage in the league. I got a clicker. I'm going to watch that game. No big soccer for me tonight.
That's
I'm watching
gutless.
that.
So gutless. Pick the Liberty, I-95. We're out of time. Try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow on Knuckleheads.